I would hope. More GQ.
What's up, sir? How close is done? Test, 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 test.
He's those words and this guy walking around watching words and, yeah. Jordan, you want us all, you want,
Mike, could you throw a tighter one?
I know, that's
You're
what I
gonna watch
said too.
that one.
I know. Me and Jordan were in the same size.
The large was too tight on me. I felt like I was trying to show my gun, so.
Well, that's kind of where I probably ought to go to a double X.
That's what this is.
Is that
I'll be
double?
able to watch it one time.
Yeah, you know what? I think I might go trade in.
This is, this,
Maybe I'll give this one a
I
break.
don't think it's gonna shrink. They're stretchy. These won't shrink.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
No, it's not. It's the mix, the cotton ones that shrink.
Jordan, do you want us in here or do you want us on the computers?
Oh, it doesn't, no, y'all can, all- it depends on the room. I mean, obviously, I would like y'all all in here.
Okay, that's what I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if everybody shows up, we probably have started in the room, but we'll see.
No. We'll be,
I'm just trying to find a little jump
get
drive.
everybody in. We can bring chairs in and all kinds of
You
stuff.
got a jump drive somewhere?
A jump drive? Scott does.
Oh, jump-
Yeah. Scott. Well, Michael, you gonna be a ring fire this morning?
I'm gonna try, man.
All right.
We're live on him. The sound.
Oh, really?
It's live already, just so people have to link.
Yeah.
Okay. Just make sure you go link. I mean, there's five people already logged in, so.
Cool.
Alright, I'm gonna look at the shirts. Set it up. Cool. Wonderful. I know.
Going off to the side, so that probably here. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So okay, let's start with the biggest. Now I have the extra.
But we're live.
There was that. Basic orientation.
Is there any yellow lights down that I can swap out?
Oh, yeah. pile up. In the driveway. I mean, I think this is the majority of the. There are. I mean, we can do this, and literally do just one little each side. So, you know, like that, I think we just go into, we can kind of make them a little bit longer, so that it's not like this giant. We used to have extra offices, and we just put this stuff in there, and now, so, let's see. Let's do yes.
In the odds that the rent is gonna be finished, like available at noon.
Oh, it should be.
Yes, we gotta close this.
Yes, yes.
It will happen.
I didn't quite do them all the way, but almost like, just still kind of how we have it, just with the sleeves back, but just a little bit longer sleeves. Yeah, I think we could get other people recommends off and say. We'll probably just put the men's extra small, right? Yeah, I think so. So, yeah. It's on mute still. You should. You know, there's something you can really want because you're a manager, so it's possible. And we have a box.
It's here, right? So I think the women's meeting,
Oh, that's my intention.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning. Morning.
Yeah, looks good in here. Sure.
So we already have that job and, no, I have one.
Extra large. Getting the right sizes and the right amount of sizes is always tough, right?
Yeah. Yes, women's and men's is on that side.
No.
No.
Why are you doing
No, the extra small for men's is on that side. No, you don't want to post insurance.
I can.
Yeah, are you happy with it?
That's fine.
Well, we're calling it Culture Week, right? Oh, I also can talk to you.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'm probably gonna do like they always want me to cook for them, not the chef. So I'll put much and stuff, not like cooking.
Yeah.
But okay. Nice. Something like that, caution day, whatever you want it to be. You're the marketing pro. It's your world, I'm just living in it.
Like everything else in my life.
Do you read? Yeah, I'm gonna put one in this one.
Yeah.
I actually put a couple of them right there in case you know, you want to share it with somebody.
Okay, awesome.
Are we gonna be looking at this one?
Probably more of a Jordan question. I think so. The other Jordan, not this Jordan. I think he's on too. So
What's that?
I think the mic is on. The water, so.
Roger your
Good morning.
You should have had the one in small, then you could really show your gun off.
Yeah.
Hi, Lucky.
Are you?
Are you familiar with joint loans?
What?
Joint loans, VA joint loans?
Yeah.
It's
Like
where,
husband and wife?
no, it'd be like husband and son.
Can't.
Nope.
Not on the VA loan.
You can't.
There might be another, not.
Set one. Joint loans, any person who uses town of joint loan, blah, blah, blah. Anywhere on a joint loan who does not use a town of loan does not have to intend to occupy the property. So if my son wants to help me pay for my house,
I check into it, I don't believe it's the truth.
well, isn't that what that means?
The only person that can be on a VA loan is the veteran and the spouse. Or
That's what I
a
thought.
a spouse that's deceased.
But this is a borrower who's not gonna occupy the property and is not gonna use the title. Okay, I'm gonna follow.
If they're not gonna use entitlement, then what they're saying, they have entitlement, you can.
No,
If
no,
you
no.
have- You don't have to be husband and wife. I take that back.
I think
You
we
can
were
be a
shared.
veteran and a veteran,
But
because
this,
you both got entitlement.
That's dual entitlement, that has to be unwritten by VA for you.
Yeah, but you can
So
do it that
I-
way.
on 7.1D occupancy, I'm reading it says, any borrower on a joint loan who does not use entitlement for the loans, such as a non-veteran, does not have to intend to occupy the property.
No.
So, dad, you're the veteran, son is gonna help you pay for it, so I'm gonna be on the loan. 7.1D.
No,
That's true.
VA won't allow it. I mean, but most of our investors will not allow a non-occupant co-bar on a VA loan.
Even if VA says it's okay?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter what VA says.
No, I understand, but,
The one
well,
with the gold makes the rules.
see how many is there?
I would call,
I've known this guy 6 years.
I would call.
He still punches me in the gut every
I would
time.
call VA.
No,
I will.
call who you're call who we're trying to sell it to before you talk to VA.
Well, I don't believe VA is gonna say you can do that.
Yeah, Joni can tell you, sure, she knows.
Well, I talked to her last night, and then I referenced this off the guide, and
What'd
she
she
hasn't
say?
gotten back. It was 9 o'clock at night when I emailed her.
Yeah, usually, like I said, I don't remember the,
It's already done.
because we tried it before, and I'm pretty sure VA will not, or
That's why I'm
nobody will
just
allow a
sharing.
non-occupant co-bar on VA.
Okay.
No, they'll allow, VAs released their guidelines before, it had to be a husband and a wife.
This
You know
is,
that before, you had to have a husband and a wife.
I believe this is a 2018 revision.
We had joint, you had to have a husband. Now you can have partners.
Well, if they say they're common law marriage, they have to have a
No,
certificate.
No, they don't have to have a certificate. They just have to show a tax return. They call it a tax return. They have to show a tax return now that they call a tax return joint.
Last place they made me make it have a certificate.
We don't make you have a certificate.
Okay,
Thank God.
But yeah, you
you're here. I'll sit on the lap.
We may sit together.
Oh, did you get them? This is a double X.
Serve yourself. I don't know.
You don't need a double X.
No, she asked what mine was.
I don't.
But I guess I have not done Bronco research. I have not seen
No, it's.
If you would, it's a pretty good deal.
I got those lemons and they're like, they fit my daughter.
Are we supposed to go just get one?
If you're well behaved.
Yeah, absolutely, I'm good.
Do you have extra large?
Will you have extra large?
This is next.
These are middles. There's only a few.
We're moving around. There's a few.
Come on in, Beverly.
Yes. And Shelley. Thank you.
A lot. I hear a lot. He's on a business trip, I get a call every day.
I think mine don't get a pink color.
You see?
Yeah.
All right, I like that. And then it's.
Oh my gosh.
Really makes my eyes. I'm Mike. I'm happy.
Don't tell him that. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, about
Yeah, where did you Did you send me a chair?
And they were all quite
That's like-
farming.
Well,
I'll send it.
for the first time in a long time, it took me like.
I was in a golf tournament.
So that's-
Or you give me
Yes, because I'm like slacks, I'm like all weird, I'm like.
I was at a
And maybe another year before you see
So I started
that.
that. I really- Way back when. But it was fun. Like my first gig. This is not.
Anything else you can have here, so.
I think we're gonna. I learned that.
That's Tyler. He's the one, hey, Jordan, he recruited me here.
You don't necessarily have to be like.
Oh, the
Yeah.
main building?
Right now, and before I wasn't knowledge, and you never use it before you did.
I've seen him.
I feel like I'm getting on the other side of it.
I take a shower, I have cologne on.
9:30.
No, but.
Maryland's like, this is close enough.
I need an easy escape route, so.
You got a shirt?
No, I don't need
You don't need one?
Oh,
There,
man.
look at it, it says culture on it.
Oh.
Jason.
Just stab me right in my heart, man.
I don't want
I didn't
to,
get a shirt.
I don't want to take one.
If you don't know where it is.
You got the-
They're over there. Shelley.
I understand.
They have all the sizes on a little yellow.
The women's.
I don't think they have extra small though,
I
sorry.
like it. It's ridiculous.
That is what I wear.
I'm sure you do.
Oh, that looks so.
Oh, wow.
They like it.
Well, that's cute.
Why do
I prefer it.
Why do
I think that's my one.
Right, right?
I think that's my one.
It is. Mine's over there. I'm sorry.
I was like, we're gonna get really close.
I did, thank you very much. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm excited to add that.
Oh, Kenan, okay, cool. We can just move another chair over there. It's a fun.
You want me to go grab a chair or no?
That's fine, I'm gonna squeeze in behind you guys, and then I'm gonna.
Yeah.
You know that.
Another one or no?
Maybe another one, girl, just like a little rolling chair.
Yeah, let me go grab that one.
Yes.
Is there an extra small?
Yes.
I took the extra small, so, yeah.
Smalls are bigger.
And she,
What else? We're gonna do RPOs or
Martha,
something?
I don't think, do you know Michelle?
I think we have enough now, girl. You guys-
Okay, oh, nice.
Come on in, there's a seat right next to Mike.
I'm Mike. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah, in her part time, she's been working on my with.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's on.
You want my face in here?
She's like, no, thanks.
Oh, no one's doing that.
Bottom floor.
No, ma'am. Switch over if you want to sit in. Yeah. I know my cat, we can make room for you, honey.
I walk.
Followed you back.
I love them. Those are like the best protein bars ever.
Really?
Yes, they do. So good.
All those years of doing what you're doing now. I can't remember the ones I used to eat. But they had all kinds
Cause I don't like the ones that like are so tough and
Yeah,
just
they're
like
like
grainy.
grainy and like you're eating powder.
Yes, like this, like legit. I mean, it's not a meal, but no, they don't.
Mike.
I'm like, no.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and get started. As the yellows know, usually this is our regular sales meeting, and we discuss a lot of other details and things that are going on in the office and the economy and the industry with your individual months, and we share some victories and all that good stuff. Jordan's here, and he wanted to get an opportunity to get a chance to talk to you all and meet you all, and he's like, man, I got a class, I'm pumped, I'm ready to let him have it, and so it's gonna be cool. First time we do this, he's actually gonna go live on Facebook here as well. So excited about it. If you haven't had the chance to meet Jordan, definitely make some time, especially after class, so we can get it on. So we're gonna do things differently this time. We'll get back to somewhat of our normal routine going forward. But just want to let you know, have had an opportunity to work with Jordan here for the past few weeks. Accomplished a lot to get things going, getting a clear direction of where the company, clear plan of where the company is at, where we're going, making sure that everybody's got the buy-in, that we have the culture, that we have the commitment from everybody. What's cool is seeing all these people, these principals, George, Mike, Scott, Joni, Shannon, and then Jordan added on, all on the same team with the same direction, the same plan. It's pretty cool. It's very exciting, and you guys are all definitely a part of it. Obviously, we're adding key people to the mix as well, the other Jordan as well, which if you guys haven't met, this is Jordan, our new head of marketing as well, if you guys haven't met her. So anyways, okay, well, there you go. Cool. So with that being said, I'll let Jordan take it away, and let's have some fun on it.
Yeah, let's just pick up where he left off. So this is Jordan Clower. She's our new head of marketing. And before I get started, I want to introduce her to you guys because honestly, you guys are her client. We hired her to do marketing for you guys to help our client base and really shift what we were doing in marketing. So not only do we have Jordan, and I'm going to her background in a second, but yesterday, myself and Jordan and Mike sat in. We interviewed our 5 finalists for our artists. So we are hiring a head of design and graphic designer for the house. And the person that we actually decided on accepted last night, he is currently the graphic designer for the last 5 years for the Spurs. So he actually does all the video graphics inside that you see. He does all their presentations for the executives, give to the sponsors. He does all of their picture taking and camera work. He is super, super talented. To be honest with you, I almost feel like I'm not saying it's too talented for us, but I think we're blessed to have him and to see what the Spurs paid those guys. He's been there for 5 years and the talent. I didn't think we could get somebody like that, but that industry is completely undervalued. So we're ecstatic to have him. And I think whenever he gets in here and starts creating the pieces for you guys, we're going to make custom videos for all you guys. We're going to make custom web pages, and just his work that he brought to us. I mean, he showed up with not just like a portfolio of his little pieces. He literally had a custom made book that was nice for presentation. His work was just top notch. Everything from video to picture taking to graphic design, we'll have all in house for you guys. And Jordan's going to lead that mission. Jordan was with Reaching Neighbors for the last 7 years as their operations manager, which is a marketing company here in San Antonio. Some of you guys who may have worked with Legacy Mutual in the past, that was one of her biggest clients. She did all the direct mail from Legacy Mutual. She ran the operations team over there, producing the mailers, producing the graphics. So she is going to be our visionary, our team leader, and basically build our marketing strategy with me. We had a little whiteboard session yesterday, and we already have 15, 20 projects on there. Obviously, we need to get our graphic designer in here to start creating and making those projects. But we will have everything for you guys from individual loan officer websites to online applications, to a new CRM completely built out and managed by our marketing team, all within the next 60 to 90 days. So it will be completely transformed the way we do marketing, our reach, We're gonna have actual Pilgrim LinkedIn and Pilgrim social media pages that promotes our company. We really want to create our brand. So we have multiple levels of marketing that we want to do. The first is we really want to build the Pilgrim brand. The second is we want to support the loan officers. And the third is we want to enhance our customer journey once they get here. And honestly, that helps you guys too, to make sure that the customer journey, the follow-up stuff is all automated. But I'll let Jordan tell you a little bit about her ideas and just say hello to you guys. I probably covered most of it. I don't want to steal your thunder, but go ahead and tell them about your ideas and your vision and your passion if you want.
So I've been right around the corner. I recognize a ton of y'all seeing some kind of slowly introducing myself. I'm sure I've emailed a lot of y'all over the last years, but you have no idea. That's me, which I get a lot. But so my biggest thing, right, is that I want to make sure that y'all have everything that you need within reason, right? Like I'm not going to give you like make you your firstborn or anything, unless you make a good case, right? And then I'll hand it over. No, I just want to make sure that y'all. That's kind of my ideal, right? Is that no one wants to buy from Pilgrim or a logo. They want y'all, right? Those relationships. So that's my biggest goal is to kind of set y'all up for success because that means that we're being successful.
Highlight our people.
Highlight our people. Focus on that. The relationships y'all are building. Whatever I can do to help build those, and make it fun.
And just we're gonna build the collateral from the top to the bottom. Even as far as like recruiting pieces, we have nothing. I go sit with a new branch right now. I got nothing to put in their hands and say this is Pilgrim. We're gonna build all that stuff out for you guys to have, even to give to your buyers. We're gonna build home buyer videos, home buyer guides, things for you guys to provide to your realtors. And we'll have a nice deck of collateral moving forward in just a few months. So hang in there with us and we'll transform that. But now let's jump into my presentation, guys. So
Can I ask you one question?
yeah, go ahead.
So you talked about a bunch of priorities that you have. Are those going to be published and we're going to know what projects are being worked on?
Yes, so
We can
once we
look
have a
forward to it.
graphic designer in here, so I'll be honest with you, probably the first, since things are kind of static and moving, I would say the first piece is I have Michael Harris working on the online application, Consumer Connect. So there's a point of sale system that we don't have. So in order to actually use that, each of you guys have to have an individual LO page because the point of sale doesn't really work. You can't send by somebody a link without having a landing page for it. So building each of you guys an individual loan officer page that has basically like a mobile business card and apply now button that links to the mobile application is probably first. Honestly, for my purposes, like I know some of y'all use pre-app 1003, y'all have like different versions, but customizing it for you all across the board, that's gonna be first for me because I want the digital app. I mean, that's almost like a mandatory piece these days, right? Some of the other stuff is gonna be nice, but like you don't have the point of sale done. So having a nice landing page with the point of sale would probably be first. So we're gonna have to actually do like a survey with all of you guys to get your information. I made a little test page just to, I can even show you what it's gonna look like. To be honest with you, I have it on my phone. I already built it out.
Jordan, are you talking about doing that through Encompass's online application? And
We are going to use, well, I'll show you how it's going to look. So everybody will have a page like this, basically. So this is what mine looks like. And you can just send out the link and it could be like apply with Mike or whatever you want it to be. And it'll look just like this. And it'll have your picture and apply now button and about you. It'll have your reviews on it. It'll have a products page, a blog page, a little buyer's kit, a little map, and you can call them Facebook and whatever you want right here. You basically just have to send your link out and somebody can hit apply now, boom, and it goes to your mobile application. So everybody will have like a digital landing page for their mobile application. That way we can all kind of start, at least having access. If you want to use your outside products, that's fine, but I want everybody to have a customized, Pilgrim product that looks the same and across the board.
Will we be able to, if someone applies, I know.
It's gonna go straight to you.
But will it go to our mobile phones as well?
Absolutely. It's gonna be tied in with Encompass. It's Encompass's products. So I don't know if you know Blend, Flowify, Pre-App 1003, those are all like secondary products. Consumer Connect is Encompass's version of that product. So it's gonna be tied into your CRM, tied into your mobile app, and it'll all talk to each other. Absolutely. As soon as they apply, it's gonna actually even load into your CRM and it'll start giving them emails and stuff. You won't have to do anything. I mean, just literally go on Encompass and pull the credit. And that's all you're gonna have to do because it's all gonna upload directly into there. Absolutely. Yes. So it'll be really, really useful, really easy, and the customer experience is one of the things I want to focus on. So, anybody has any other questions about what we're working on? We can go into that before it's good? All right, cool. So, go over some things with you guys, and, I do a lot of teaching, and one of the things I used to tell my people is I like to preach a little bit and teach a little bit. So, in the beginning, it might seem like I'm preaching, but I promise we're going to get to the teaching. If anybody asks good questions, I brought a couple copies of my book. I did write a book a couple years ago. If some of you guys want to read it, ask me a good question and I'll give you a copy. This is not, what do you say?
Apparently this question was a good one.
Yeah. Apparently. About the presentation, right? About the presentation. Damn, that was bad. No, so that being said, yeah, you threw me off now. No, but I don't want it to be up here just me talking to you guys. If you guys have any questions, you want to ask anything, please stop me. At the end, we'll do a little question and answer. So I call this the world's greatest loan officer. Really what this is my introduction to you guys, a little bit of my strategy, a little bit of my beliefs. I do believe that success starts in the minds. I'll share with you guys whenever I got introduced the first time, a little story I had with Joni, and Joni asked me, she said, and I'll share with you this slide. This is what my MLS record looks like, right? So people ask me who I am, and I love to show them this because this is what it looked like before I got to my last home at Nations. The last 5 or 6 are just different branches I ran at Nations Lending. But, Joni asked me, she said, what changed from 2010 to 2014? How'd you go from job hopping and changing jobs to being the national sales manager at Nations? And one of the things that really, really changed was not my knowledge of mortgages. It was not my training. It was really my mental capacity and basically my ownership. I took ownership of my life and I changed the way I thought. So a lot of the times when I train people, I don't come in here and just tell you this is how you sell, this is how you set up meetings. I really like to discuss the mindset that it takes to get there. And I can just tell you flat out, that's what made a difference for me. It may not be what makes a difference for you, but that's what makes a difference for me. So let's look at this. Look at this beautiful track record. So I show you guys who I am. I started off in subprime in 2004 with Aegis Lending, and then things just went completely off the rails. I don't think I stayed anywhere longer than a year for the next 6 years. If you look back in 2013, look at that, Mike. I was here from 07 to 11. I made it 4 months the first time. Hopefully I make it longer this time. That being said, when I left here, I went over to Go Financials. It was my only stop between here and Nations Lending. And while I was at Go Financial, it was very similar sharp stop to here. When I left Go Financial, this is the email that the owner, no names, of Go Financial sent me when I left. So as you can tell, this is who my last boss before Nations thought I was. I know some of you guys know him, so we won't point any fingers. But his last sentence here said, do us all a favor and stick to cooking mud bugs. If you guys know that. I am from Louisiana, down south. Yeah. So I'm glad I didn't listen to him. But that's basically what he had to tell me whenever I left. None of this is true, obviously. It was just his parting shot. And while I was at Nations, this is definitely an email that I kept the entire time for the last 7 years because I wanted to prove Mike wrong. That's the name. Sorry.
The owner.
The owner, yes. So this is what my MySpace says I am. I was like, man, let me get these guys some old pictures. Where do I have old pictures? And I was like, I bet I can log into MySpace and find some funny things for these guys. So back whenever I was growing up, I tell you guys, I grew up on a farm. This is literally where I grew up. My wife asked me all the time, she's like, did you grow up in a barn? And I'm like, yes, I did. That is the barn that in the country down a gravel road. I was prom king. I was national championship debater. This is my high school picture. These trophies are just the trophies I won my senior year for debating. I probably won 18 different tournaments my senior year in debating, and I went to college on a full academic scholarship. I was valedictorian, went to Northwestern. My mom and dad's pride and joy, and unfortunately, I joined the fraternity, started drinking and doing drugs. And I'm not exactly what my mom and dad thought, and I lost my scholarship by the 3rd semester. So mom and dad said, you're coming home. And I said, no, I'm not. I'm going to the Army because you can't tell me what to do. And this was me when I was in the Army. I actually was stationed here at Fort Sam Houston. I was a nurse in the Army. And as soon as I got out, I went back to school. I was bartending my first semester back, and some guy comes up and goes, man, you'd be great at mortgages. And I said, what's a mortgage? He said, a home loan. I said, that's the stupidest thing ever. Why don't I call it home loans? And I was like, nah, man, I ain't doing that. That's a dumb name. He comes back a week later and he goes, hey, man, he goes, I see you play softball and stuff. He said, I just moved here from Orlando and I love to play softball. I said, man, we got a team. We could use you. So he came play softball with me. And after about 3 or 4 games, he taught me into trying mortgages. By the second week I was there, we had an HR meeting. We all came in a room like this. They're like, hey, guys, we're closing the branch. So my first real job, it got closed in 2 weeks. And back then I was still 23, I think, and I was partying. So I went to New Orleans for the weekend. It was my birthday. I hadn't slept. He called me at Sunday at 7 a.m. and he goes, man, I got an offer for you. He said, they're moving me back to Orlando to open a new branch for this subprime company. Why don't you move with me? I said, man, no offense. I played softball with you, met you at a bar. More than 2 weeks, you got me fired. I ain't moving nowhere. So I called my mom and I said, hey, that guy that gave me that mortgage job, he wants me to relocate to Orlando with him. And my mom, knowing that I was hanging with the wrong crowd, doing drugs and all that stuff, my mom said, why don't you go? And I was like, wow, my mom wants me to move. So I actually loaded everything I had into a little Blazer at the time. And I moved with him to Orlando. Within 3 months, I was the number one producer there. And by 24, I was a manager of that company. And then obviously, you know how the subprime stuff went. But I've been managing people since I was 24. This is when I was in Orlando. So back when I was making money, this is what I did on the weekends. You know, we still went to the club, we partied, and obviously we poured Grey Goose out on the floor. So my life has changed a little bit since then. So this is what I always laugh and I said, well, that's what MySpace looks like. Well, here's what my Facebook looks like. So a little bit more in to date. So from that time, I met my wife, and things really started to turn around for me right before then. So at Nations Lending, as you can see, every year I was there. I started off, I was their number 8 branch, then I was their number 3 branch, then I was their number 1 branch. In the 3 years I was a branch manager there, I went through a 1-person team like I was here at Pilgrim. I think when I was at Pilgrim, the most I did when I was here, I did 11 loans my last month for like 1.7 million. I lived in Louisiana. I was doing about that much. When I called Nations for a branch opportunity, their minimum, you have to do $1 million for an entire year straight, and I hadn't even done it. They almost didn't even give me a branch. And within the second year there, I was the number 1 branch in the company, and I was doing about 150 million a year. I literally turned it around that fast. So what I like to share with people is a little bit about my story so they do understand. I moved to Houston after I built my Lafayette branch. I was named Who's Who in Houston. This is after Hurricane Harvey. They actually had a monument in downtown Houston thanking me for all the charity work that I did in Houston after the hurricane. I was Houston Young Entrepreneur of the Year 2 years ago. I wrote a book explaining my story and my struggles and how I turned it all around. So that's a little bit about me and my story. I'll share with you guys on a personal level if you like. But I always tell people is who I am because I think I'm the world's greatest loan officer. That's where it really all started for me is I had confidence that I was going to be the best at this. So whenever I train people, I tell them, who are you? And I tell them, you can be the world's greatest loan officer too. This is not a 1-person position. We all can be the best. And that's really what I want for you guys is all of y'all to be the best y'all can be each day. And here's kind of how I did it. So here goes the preaching part. So this is what I personally believe was the difference for me. I don't know if you guys recognize this man here, but if you're in my age range, Mike Tyson was the baddest man on the planet when we were growing up. If somebody said, hey, I'm going to punch you, it's like, I'm going to hit you like Mike Tyson, whatever it was. Mike Tyson was the baddest man on earth. This guy up here is Buster Douglas. And I kind of relate to Buster Douglas because he's the first man to ever beat Mike Tyson. He's the biggest underdog. Well, until about 3 months ago, he's the largest underdog ever in a heavyweight title fight to win. Somebody just knocked out Anthony Joshua a couple months ago and was a bigger underdog. But until about 3 months ago, he was the largest underdog to ever beat a heavyweight title fight. The funny thing about this fight, and what I loved about it ever since I was little, I never understood. I go to a lot of motivational speakers. I go to a lot of events, and I always hear, what's your why? And people would always tell me, what's your why? When I was 28 and partying, I was like, I want a boat, and I want girls, and a nice car. Like, I didn't get it, right? Every check was about who I could impress. Every check was about what I can buy. And I didn't understand what your why was. I was like, we all go to work to make money, you know? That's why we go to work, right? And it never really stepped in with me. When I watched this fight, and there was I think it was the 8th round, Mike Tyson had Buster Douglas on the ropes. There was never a fight in the history, Mike Tyson was 42-0 at this time, where if he had knocked somebody down, that a person had gotten up. He actually knocked Buster Douglas down in the 8th round, the round before Buster Douglas beat him. And he was saved by the bell. Buster Douglas got up, though, and the next round, the entire world, all the commentators, thought that Mike Tyson was going to finish him. Obviously, when the bell rang, Mike Tyson attacked. He had Buster Douglas up against the ropes, and he was beating, obviously, the smack out of him. Unfortunately, for Mike Tyson, this is how it ended. And, sorry.
I beg your pardon.
No, it's okay. No, we're all, our phones all ring. It's not a problem. So what ended up happening was Buster Douglas fought back off the rope and he knocked Mike Tyson out. But when the commentator went to Buster Douglas after the fight, they said, Buster, nobody's gotten up off the ropes. Nobody's ever gotten off the mat before when Buster Douglas had knocked him down. What made you get up? How did you get up? And Buster Douglas said, I almost didn't take this fight because my mom died 5 days ago, but I found out she was at the beauty parlor 2 days before she died, and she told everybody at the beauty parlor.
I don't know, I'll just turn it off, sorry.
That would probably be a great idea. I'm not the smartest guy in here, but I would agree. That being said, he said my mom was in the beauty parlor 5 days ago, and she told everyone in the beauty parlor that I was going to beat Mike Tyson, and I wasn't going to let my mama die alive. And that always sunk in with me, and I loved it. And I was like, man, that's really, really crazy. That somebody would be able to fight back. And I always drew parallels in the mortgage industry to a fight because that's the way I feel some days, right? Then it feel like people are just beating you up and you're up against the rope. And if you don't have a reason why, if you don't have a real reason why, you're going to get knocked down every day. But if you know why you're doing what you're doing, and it's not just for a paycheck, it's amazing the motivation, it's amazing the strategy you come up with. So for me, I never understood any of this stuff, and I shared it with you guys when I first started. I don't know who was here, but when I first got married, we did get pregnant very, very soon, and we lost that baby. And even though I was partying, I was a party ball all through my 20s, deep down inside, the one thing I always wanted to be was a dad. I mean, that was my way of coping with the fact that I didn't have a family. I was partying, but that's not what I really wanted. I wanted to settle down. And when we lost that baby, and my wife shared with me 2 weeks later that she was glad we lost the baby because she didn't think I was stable enough in my job, I was stable enough in my career. That really, really killed me. And like I told you guys when I first started, I literally rolled over that night and I told her that I'm going to work harder than anybody you've ever seen. I didn't even have a kid yet. And I knew right away, that day I knew, okay, this is what people are talking about. This is the reason why. This is when people say you have to know your why. This is what changes you as a person. And from that day on, that was actually right when I was at Global Financial. And from that day on, I went from making $330,000. The next year I made $1.2 million, literally tripled my income in 1 year because I became possessed and I became obsessed with winning for my future child, which I do now have. If y'all follow me on Facebook, y'all see I have a little girl. So really knowing your why and why you do it every day, I think is super important. But I took it even further than that because I used to waste so much time. This is one of the things that I always tell people is time is our #1 asset in the entire world. And this is how I changed my entire life is I quit wasting time. And I always, when I coach my LOs and I coach people, the one thing I always tell them when they ask me how to make more money is I tell them to work full time. And they always, what are you talking about? I work 80 hours a week. No, you don't. You come here 60 hours a week, but you don't work 80 hours a week. You don't work 40 hours a week. I see you. You get here at 8. You talk till 9:30, you get coffee till 10, you go to lunch at 11 till 1, and you leave at 4. And then you were on fantasy football, you were planning vacations, you actually worked on mortgages about 2 hours today. Look, and I watch these guys do it. I was here 8 hours. No, you worked for 2. And honestly, the income you make, 2 times 5 is 10, you get a part-time income. When you start working full-time, who'll pay you full-time? And that's what I started realizing. I used to be in 6 fantasy football leagues. 6. And I literally would have a map out on my wall, draft boards. I would study for months to try to win $500. For months. Like, I was obsessed. Like, if I was going to play, I was going to win. Yet the job that pays me hundreds of thousands of dollars, I did no research on, no study, and no training, but God damn if I wasn't going to win fantasy football, And I started seeing it in my clients too, On the other hand, I have these people who call me for homes, and they're like, hey, we want to buy this house. And they're like, oh, we don't have money for a down payment. Then I get their bank statements, and they spent $7K last month going to Disney. Well, you can plan your vacations, but you can't plan your life. And I started really looking at it. And I was like, you know what? I got to have a plan for my life, a plan for my business. And when I started doing that, everyone was like, oh, here, Mark, you just got to have a work-life balance. I hate that stuff, man. It absolutely kills me. I don't think there's a such thing in mortgages or life. You have one life, guys. One. You don't get a work life. You don't get a home life. You breathe the same air. You put on the same pants. And I said I'm going to win all day, every day. Not going to win at work. I'm going to win all day, every day. And when I started thinking that way is when I really, truly started to win. And if you don't believe me, if you're married or have kids, go home and fight with your husband and then come to the office and try to sell loans. If you don't think that there's a balance, try it. It's impossible. If you do not have a good life, if your outside life is affecting you, you will not be as productive here. And I say, you know what? The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start working on Jordan. I'm going to quit drinking. I'm going to quit doing the crazy things. And I'm going to make Jordan a better person. And all of a sudden, people started wanting to do business with me. All of a sudden, my work life started getting better. It's amazing how that happens. If you think you can separate those things in this business and still win, you're absolutely wrong. If I gave you $86,400 today, and I said, tomorrow we're going to meet back here at the same time, same place, and whatever you don't spend, you got to give it back to me. How much money are you going to bring? Nothing? Zero? All right, well, there's 86,400 seconds in every day. If time is really money, why are we wasting so much time? Why? I walk around here every day and I see nothing but people wasting time. Now, are we productive and do y'all do good things? Absolutely. But if you want to win, the time you're wasting is literally the difference between you and the guy who's beating you right now. I'm just telling you. He doesn't know more than you. He uses his time and he works harder than you. That's the number one way you win this business. The smartest guy doesn't win. The guy who works the hardest wins. I promise you. So, that being said, I decided to start changing the way I thought. The basis of my book, I'll tell you guys, is really this right here. And I called it Reflect and Correct. So when we finally got pregnant for our baby, I remember the day I was walking in. My wife's a CPA, just so you guys don't know, like everything has a time and a place and a schedule. So it wasn't like a surprise. I mean, like she was like to the T, like, obviously y'all know how this happens, you know. Like today is the day to do it. So when she called me to say, hey, you were pregnant, I mean, obviously I wasn't surprised. Nothing is a surprise with her. Everything is on an Excel spreadsheet. My whole life, we have Excel spreadsheets for Excel spreadsheets. It's really confusing, but that's how we live, and thankfully it helped change my life. She called me, I was at Nations in Cleveland on a recruiting trip, bringing one of my buddies over to open a branch. We were walking in the casino with the president of Nations and my buddy was opening a branch, and she said, hey, just wanted you to know, got a pregnancy test, I'm sure you guys are pregnant. And I was like, she said, what are you doing? I hear noise, and then I'm walking in the casino. She's like, oh, really? What are you going to do? I'm like, I want to have some drinks and play some cards. She's like, oh, enjoy it because you're not drinking for 9 months. And I was like, well, that's crazy because if you guys don't know, Mardi Gras is a holiday for you guys, but in Louisiana, it's like a way of life. Like, you know, like, so that's just how I live every day, all day. Mike just came with me to New Orleans this weekend. Mike knows. I mean, we're in the street all day, every day. So I was like, wow, I don't get to drink for 9 months. That's the year that I went from making $300K to 1.2 million. I literally stopped taking days off because what I used to do is Thursday afternoon, we go to Rhythms on the River. And then I would drink. You know, we didn't have a kid. Well, Friday was basically part-time because even if I was in the office, I was hungover. And Saturdays I didn't go in the office because I was partying on boys on Friday. Sundays I didn't take calls because we were at football games. And so I literally quit drinking for 9 months, started focusing on work. I had more energy. I had just a better attitude. And all of a sudden my business boomed. So I had to really take a look at myself and realize like, wow, the only thing that changed, I didn't learn anything new. Because in the past, y'all know why I was job hopping? Because I was looking for something, right? Every company I was at, oh, they don't have this. That company has that. Well, they have better rates. They got a better CRM. If I go over there, I'm going to make more money. And it never happened. Every place I went, I ended up leaving 4 months later. But whenever I started fixing Jordan, it didn't matter where I worked. I said, I don't care where I work. Whatever they have here, I'm going to use, and I'm going to be the best at what I have. That's when I started dominating. So I started reflecting on myself and being honest with myself, what was in the mirror, and not blaming everybody else for my mistakes. And the game really, really changed for me that year. And it was literally because of the fact that I quit drinking. So I tell people all the time, to have success in this business, you do not need to add things to your arsenal. You need to remove the negatives first, period. Whatever's holding you back right now, I would bet you 9 out of 10 people in here is things in your life that are negative, not the things you're missing. Either toxic relationships, toxic habits, or things like that is the first thing that you need to change. Having a better CRM is not going to take you from 5 loans to 10. Well, I'm not going to say if you're a crackhead, that's not right. If you were like me and you were a crackhead, obviously a better CRM wasn't going to help. I'm not talking about myself, guys. So that being said, we really got to start with ourselves. So I did that, and I started realizing that people wanted me to win. And I'll explain that in my strategy section now. So let's just wrap up my 5 little rules to be the greatest LO. 1, be yourself and always bet on your strengths. Whenever, my wife always laughed, I used to have a work voice, right? Because I was from Louisiana, I was from the Bayou, and I thought people thought I talked funny. When I moved to Orlando with the first subprime job, and I was managing, I'd call people in for interviews. And Mike can even vouch for this. Mike thought I was a different color skin whenever I walked in the first time, you know? And he was like, oh, you're just a little white guy. And everybody thinks that I'm an old black man. And it's okay, but it started to bother me when I was young. And I was like, well, I gotta have a work voice. I can't let nobody know I'm from the Bayou. Like, I was trying to disguise it. And the funny thing is, when I really, really started to win, I said, you know what? I'm going to change my tagline. I started calling myself the Cajun Mortgage Guy. I said, you know what? I'm going to own who I am. And people loved it. Instead of bringing people to buy drinks, I would bring people Cajun seasoning. I would cook them gumbos. And I said, I'm Cajun. I'm from the swamp. I'm going to be that guy. And I started betting on what I was good at and betting on who I was. And people loved it because it was authentic. So whatever you're trying to be in this business, be who you are. Be authentic. People will do business with you for you because of who you really are, not who you think they want to do business with. Number 2, reflect and correct every day. People who have vision boards and all this stuff, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but But if you have to put a picture of what you want to buy next year on your desk to go to work, me and you aren't going to be friends, right? I don't need a vision board because every single day I know why I wake up and I know what I'm going to get done that day. You can't wait to the end of the year and say, oh, I didn't get to buy that boat this year because 2019 didn't go my way. You can't reflect on an entire year at a time. It's impossible. What did you do wrong? In July 16th, I probably wasted an hour. You can't do that. But every night you can lay in bed for 5 minutes and say, what can I have done to be better today? How can I have made my relationships better today? Where did I waste time today? And if every day you get a little bit better, I promise you at the end of 2019, you'll have whatever you put on that vision board. You cannot reflect on an entire year at a time. You cannot just set yearly goals. You have to reflect every single day. Number 3, quit comparing yourself to others. In the social media age, everybody wants to be something that's not real. I've seen depression has always been an issue in America, but depression and suicide has actually exploded since social media came around. You know why? Because people are comparing themselves to fake crap. They're literally saying, I want to be like these people who are married with relationships. I coach realtors all the time in Houston. That's what I used to do to build my business. So many realtors would come in and say, hey, that girl you coach, I want to be like her. I'm like, you can double what she does. Well, I see on her postings, like she reposts the same postings like 6 times. It's not even real. Quit comparing yourself to other people's bullshit. It's ridiculous. Number 4, take action. Hard work always wins over ideas. Nobody pays for ideas. Nobody. Everyone pays for action. Please remember that. And number 5, be consistent. Now let's get into a little bit of the strategy for you guys. So this is what I believe wholeheartedly in how we're going to build this business. There's only 2 parts of the mortgage industry. 2 parts, guys. Let's make this very, very simple. I'm going to break every step down in my strategy into very simple steps for you guys. The first part is getting clients. That's it. Hey, I do mortgages. The second part is the client experience, right? As a loan officer, this is the only 2 things you should care about. How do I get clients and how do I be really, really good at my job? All right? We're going to hold off on the client experience right now. We're going to talk about just getting clients. But I do feel this wheel is very, very important. My number 1 LO that I've ever coached from the beginning, he worked upstairs for me in my last job. He was an engineer. I almost didn't hire him. He's the number 1 loan officer in all the nations blend. They got 800 loan officers in his 3rd year because he's an engineer. He couldn't sell to anybody at first. But when he got 1 deal, it turned into 3 deals. You know why? Because he was so meticulous, so good, the realtor started selling for him. So his wheel was spinning so hard, he was so good at his job, it exploded for him. So you don't have to be just good at getting clients. If you're really, really good at the client experience, it will sell for you. I never believed that because I'm a salesman at heart. I'm like, you gotta be able to sell. If you can sell 1 person and be really good at loans, you can never ever sell a loan again. I truly believe that. I've seen it happen. But let's talk about getting clients first of all and how we're gonna get clients. So here's the new marketing belief. And Jordan, I probably haven't shared this with you, but this is kind of what I believe in. I see so many online marketers, so many people. If I hear the word funnel, I swear to God, people on Facebook use the word funnel for like 10 years, and I didn't know what it meant. I'm like, what is a funnel? And how are you putting people in it? It was really confusing, but this is what a funnel is, right? You see all these sales funnels, all these gurus try to sell funnels. It's literally, how do I say, I do mortgages, get a whole bunch of people in the funnel, and I shake it all the way down. And if I get 1 million people in there and I contact the crap out of them, I'll probably close 10. That's not the way I do business, all right? That isn't fun. I'm not saying you don't have to do business like that. I want to close 1 million deals too, but the way I want to do business is like this. Every person you meet every day, when they leave talking to you, when they leave meeting you, I want that person to say, that's the girl I want to do a mortgage with. That's the strategy I take. Not let's put a whole bunch of people in this big old funnel and shake them down. Every person we come in contact with every day, when they leave contacting you, should say, you're the person I will use if I ever buy a house. You're the person I'll send my sister to. And that takes a very refined mental strategy in how you approach this. So I'll go into that with you guys. There is only 2 reasons. Here's another, I'm going to break it all down to 2s. If somebody does not do a loan with you, there is only 2 reasons, okay? Now, how many times have you seen your family friend, your brother, your sister on Facebook, and the first time you even hear they want a mortgage is when they post a picture at closing with the key? Happens to the best of us, guys. And you're like, what the hell happened? Why did that happen? If you approach them, what do they always say? They're always going to tell you, oh, I forgot you did loans. Nobody is ever going to tell you, well, you're kind of snotty and I didn't want you in my shit. Nobody's going to say that. But that's the truth, right? Nobody forgets. Nobody forgets. If they're that close on your Facebook, they don't forget. They will lie to you and forget. But guess what it is? And we all want to believe as loan officers, oh, that's my friend, he forgot. Be honest with yourself, he didn't forget. He sat at home and said, I'll go to Mike's house for a barbecue, but I ain't letting that dude do my lump. And if you don't believe that, I'll tell you guys a story. Y'all saw the pictures of me earlier. When I was in the MySpace, Jordan, I was valedictorian. I was national debate champ. I was prom king. I have no friends from high school, none. I don't communicate with any of them, ever. I mean, I moved away. I don't have any friends. They're all on my Facebook. I close probably 3 loans a month from people I went to high school with, referring people because I was a good guy in high school. All my friends now are from college. When I was in a fraternity, I did drugs with. Most of them are cleaned up and don't do that anymore. They have families and stuff. I closed 0 loans from those guys. They will come to my house and party, but they still remember the kid who was the troublemaker. They still remember the bad kid. If you think people won't party with you and be your friend and then still respect you, you're wrong. They will come to your house for a barbecue and leave and say, Jordan don't need any money. When Jordan was pouring out vodka and driving BMWs, nobody wants that guy to make money. I'm just telling you, if you don't think people wanting you to make money is the key deciding factor in who they do business with, you're lying to yourself. So I decided that it's very, very easy for people to say, I do mortgages, but actually getting people to say, that's the guy I want to do loans with, that's what I'm going to focus on. I'm going to change my life, change myself to where people literally sit at home and say, I want that guy to make money, right? And it's amazing that once I had a daughter, that was a huge help because all of a sudden people started seeing me differently. Oh, that guy's a dad now, he's taking care of his daughter. We want that guy to make money. If you don't think that goes through people's minds, you're lying to yourself and you have to really look at it. So I started breaking it down even further. And I said, okay, if people are going to do business with me, there's 3 things I got to be good at, right? Because there's only 3 reasons people will choose you. Once they choose you, there's 3 reasons. Only 3 kind of customers. 1, the customer who only cares about money. That's all they care about. That's the same guy who buys everything at Dollar General. It doesn't matter how good it is, I'm buying the cheapest, period. I will go to a different dealership to save $25. Doesn't matter if their service is horrible. I want the cheapest. We're not going to win right there. Our model's not set up that way. Y'all comp plan isn't set up that way. We will never win to be the cheapest. If you want to be the cheapest, we can probably refer you to somewhere else to go work. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but that's not how we're set up. If you're going to be the cheapest, most of the time, that's all you can be because you can't do the other things and be the cheapest. I said Jordan is never going to win that way. Now, do I want to establish value? Of course, so they can see why they're paying more, but I never wanted to be just the cheapest. So I said, how do I win the rest of the time? And that's by being the best. There are some people that do not care what it costs, period. They are working with the best, no matter what. And that's where the realtors refer me. That's where the reviews, that's where building yourself as an expert in a certain field comes in. I used to be a VA expert. I'm a veteran. People wanted to use me. I had realtors that would only call me for VA loans because I branded myself as an expert. Now, if you can do both of these, they see the monetary value. Wow, he's the best. You know, he's still cost effective. And some people are a combination of those 2, right? They want to work with the best as long as you're in the ballpark. And that's kind of what our model is, right? We don't want to be the cheapest. We certainly aren't the highest. But if we're the best and we're in the middle, we should win every time. The third part that most people ignore, which the largest portion right now, if we break down our buyers here at Pilgrim Mortgage, you guys would be shocked. Over 50% of our buyers here, I'll bet my life, are millennials right now. People think it's an emerging market. It's probably over half of our business right now. It wasn't Nations. It was 52% the last one that was there were millennial buyers. Millennials care more than anything, than any other sector. You know, your older guys, your experienced people, they want the best. Young folks, they want easy, and they want somebody they like. They want to know you're doing good things. So I said, I'm going to make people like me. I'm going to be the best, and they can build value. And I said, how am I going to make people like me? How am I going to make myself a person that people want to spend money on? And I started looking at other companies. Let's use the example of Tom's Shoes, for example, right? Y'all know what Tom's Shoes are? Those little shoes that look like potatoes. You know, they're hard and shoes. But they sold millions and millions of shoes. You know why? Because for every pair of shoes, they donated a pair of shoes to people, our kids in Africa. So literally, millennials were buying them up to support the cause. There's water companies that do this, tons of other companies that basically donate for everything you buy. Their product is no better than the product that pay less, but people will pay triple to contribute to a cause. And I started thinking, you know, maybe I should start giving back. Maybe I should start working in the community. I started volunteering. I started doing tons of things. In Houston, one of the things I did after Hurricane Harvey is I literally rented out the clubhouse in our country club. Rented the whole thing out. I invited every realtor after Hurricane Harvey to a party at the country club for Christmas. It was free. I got all the title companies to sponsor with me. It cost me $5K total. I got sponsors to cover the whole thing. I had about 400 realtors show up, and I said, the only thing you gotta do, free drinks, free music, Christmas party, is bring a toy. All you gotta do. I took all the toys from all these realtors, and we loaded up in the trucks, and I turned my conference room into this. I put like 6 Christmas trees in it. I put Santa in the corner, and I went to all the schools. We hung lights in the ceiling, and we put the toys all over the room. We stacked it like a toy house. I went to all the elementary schools in the area, and I gave the counselors golden tickets for the kids that were underprivileged, because the counselors know, and all the kids that had flooded houses from Christmas. It cost me no money. I literally had line down the hall of underprivileged kids. The news came because we had a toy store for all the underprivileged kids for Christmas. You know how good that makes the community feel? And I'll be honest, that makes this job fun. I don't care if I sold one mortgage for it, but that made it fun. That's the kind of things I started doing. I wasn't buying billboards. I wasn't taking realtors to lunch, but I was doing events like that consistently. And realtors would start asking, hey, can I help you with it? So my realtor meetings were really just them coming to do community service and stuff with me. I wasn't doing happy hours. I wasn't spending $500 on fiesta parties. I was spending $500 on Thanksgiving delivering turkeys. And guess what? 5 or 6 realtors would, hey, can we come ride around with you and bring it to families? That was the kind of things I was doing, and bringing my real estate relationships into it. That's what I was doing to build it. And guess what? People start liking that guy. People start wanting that guy to win. And I started finding that when I started doing things like that, and everything I did was about giving back. When I was doing realtor relationships, it was always about building their business, right? I never went anywhere and taught about mortgages. If somebody asked me, hey, can you come and sponsor our lunch? I'll do it. And I would go in and talk about how I can help their business. People would literally ask me at the end of the class, Mr. Gerard, you know, I know you wrote this book and you try to be motivational and all this, but what about loans? Isn't that what you do? I said, I do. So let me ask you a question. What else do you think I sold? He said, well, no, you're not a realtor. I said, how many you sold? More than one? Because you sold more than me if you sold one. He goes, well, yeah, I sold 100. Okay, well, you're here listening to me tell you how to do your job. Isn't that funny? I've never sold a house. If I know enough to help you do business, how good do you think I am at the job they pay me for? And they would all look at me like, wow, you're cocky. But then I would say, look, I'm just playing with you, but it's the truth. So let me ask you a favor. If anything I taught you today gets one deal, let me ask you guys all this. Anything I'll do today gives you one extra deal, will you promise to send it to me? That's all I'm asking. Well, absolutely. I said, I promise you, if you do some of the things I taught you, you will get one more deal. I will show you how good I am at mortgages if you send me that deal. Fair? I'm not going to tell you how good I am. I'm not going to talk about my rates. I'm not going to pat your butt and buy you drinks. Give me one chance and I'll prove it. Literally every person in there would call me and try to set up a meeting. The realtors started calling me. I never, ever called realtors. Between teaching classes, giving back, showing them how to earn their business and involve their business, and giving back to the community, my phone rang off the hook for realtors trying to come to my office to meet with me. If you start setting yourself up in that position, they're chasing you, you're not chasing them. You become a person they want to do business with. Turn yourself into a person that people want to do business with, not a person who chases business. Okay, guys? And we're going to show you guys how to do that. So I started creating a brand, and I started realizing that my brand wasn't just, you know, hey, Jordan, and my name. So I was the Cajun mortgage guy. So I started saying, okay, my pieces need to be Cajun. When I would go through those classes, guess what I did? I didn't buy Jimmy John's anymore. I started making an etouffee. I started making a gumbo. So now I go to a real estate office. They were like, you really cook for us? Absolutely, I did. I'm the Cajun mortgage guy. That's what we do, you know? And it started really, really building a brand. It started building an image. And I wouldn't give koozies. I'd give them a can of Cajun seasoning. They started talking. I would have people call me from other states. Are you that Cajun mortgage guy with seasoning? They didn't even know these people. But my brand started carrying above me, and they started talking about me as the Cajun mortgage guy. So it really, really helped me to build it as I was out there doing those things. I literally have people come up to me in the park. My wife hated it because in our little pocket of Houston, like I literally got famous. I became the famous Cajun mortgage guy. I went to an auction one time at there was like a school auction. This guy in the neighborhood, I was the HOA president. We had 4,000 houses. My wife was like, why do you want to do that? I said, hey, there's 4,000 people who are going to see me giving back in the community. It's good for business, right? So one of the guys in the neighborhood is doing an auction for like a high school. I walk up and he goes, oh, you can't bid, you're famous. I'm like, dude, I'm not famous. I see your YouTube videos, I see all your stuff. Literally, my wife is right there. She's like, oh my God, again. I think it's because I'm bald and I talk funny, people just remember me, you know, whatever. So my wife is like, I'm like, baby, it's just somebody from the neighborhood. It's not, she's like, everywhere we go, people are like come and ask you if you're that Jordan guy who does mortgages. Literally, while I'm saying this, a lady walks up and she goes, are you that Jordan guy who does mortgages? I'm like, oh my God. But what I'm basically saying is just by giving back and being out there, I really made myself like the famous mortgage guy on the north side of Houston, just from giving back. And I started realizing the reason I did that is because I understood my audience for the first time. You know, back when I was younger, I literally had a guy the other day, for example, that literally called me. He was 22 years old. He goes, I want to brand myself as the luxury lender. And I'm like, do you know anybody in that space? Like, when have you even been in a nice house in your whole life? Why would you do that? What sense does that make? Those guys do not want to use you. Like, you're 22. Make yourself the millennial mortgage guru, something like that. So the people who relate to you, your audience, wants to do business with you, right? Because that's the kind of guys who are going to do business with you. People like you. You know, my dad's a mechanic, right? My mom's a school teacher. I'm from South Louisiana. Let me get a Cajun on the phone. It's over, right? Let me get a doctor on the phone. He's going to hang up because he can't understand a word I'm saying. I mean, it's just the way it is. I've been doing this 15 years. I did 150 million a year. I've done 2 jumbo loans my whole career, my entire career. Done a lot of double wides though. And when I came to the realization of who my client was, I started winning, right? It took me 13 years to brand myself the VA guru when I was a veteran. Like, you would think that'd be a light bulb that would just go off, right? You're in the military. You could probably help those people. Nope, never went off. I'm over here trying to figure out how to do jumbo loans. You have to know your audience, know who's going to relate to you, and go after that sector of the population. That's going to be one of the hugest things for me. You know, the same, and they call it like language loyalties almost. The same with like Juan. If he gets somebody who speaks Spanish on the phone and the other person they shop doesn't speak Spanish, he has zero chance, right? Because they're going to be loyal to that person. If you're from the same hometown, if I live in Houston and I get somebody on the phone who's from Louisiana, from Lafayette, I mean, it was over. They're never going to shop. You know, so start trying to market to your specific audience. Pick a section of it. You know, if you live by the beach in Corpus Christi and you call yourself the condo queen, you know, go be the best at condos. You don't have to go after every type of business. What I learned was when I started asking for business for people, when I would go out, I only asked for one piece of business because I wanted to be an expert. It's really, really hard to convince people you're an expert at everything. But if you can convince people you're an expert at one thing, they'll give you a shot at that one thing. So I used to call myself the trash guy, right? Because I did it 580 and below. Send me your hard stuff. I know you work with the guy at Prime Lending, he goes to 640, but I'll take everything under 640. I know they're the tough stuff, but Corey over at Prime, he only can make layups. I can make 3-pointers, right? So send me 3-pointers and just promise me this. When I start making the 3-pointers look easier than he makes the layups, we can talk about who the real MVP is. Okay, I'll do that. And guess what? Sometimes they send you stuff you can't do. And the first one, they never call you back because they sent you an impossible deal. Sometimes it doesn't work, but then sometimes it would because I would do one and make it look easy that Corey didn't do, and now I was in with everything. But if I would have gone to that guy and said, hey, I'm the best, give me a shot, he never would have. Because I went after one specific part and I said I'm an expert at this, they gave me a shot at that and I parlayed it into the rest of their business. Same thing I did with VA loans in Houston. People would call me just to do VA loans. They would have such a good experience. I would earn the rest of their business. If you try to go to someone you don't know and try to get all their business at once, the chances of you earning it are very, very slim. If you tell them I'm an expert at this, the next time that comes to them, they're going to give you a shot, way more likely. So figure out what you're an expert at and use that as part of your pitch, all right? Know your audience. And if you can pigeonhole a specific audience to win in, you can leverage it to the rest of their deals. So here's my whole strategy, guys. I'm going to come back on Tuesday, and anybody else who wants to come back, I'm actually going to lay out my strategy step for step. I have a thing that I call the compass, right? Because we're a ship. And I'm going to literally lay out step for step how I built my plan for you guys. And it's going to be about an hour class. And I'm going to show you step for step how to build your business plan. It's going to be called the Pilgrim Compass. You know, like guiding you home, that's for our clients. Guiding your career, that's for us. And I really want to show you how to guide your career. I'll be back Tuesday for anybody who wants to join. But this is how I set it up, right? My entire day was structured on activities. Very, very simple. I figured out what activities I was good at, and I did them over and over and over again. I realized I was good at teaching classes, and I taught classes 15 times a week. Now, it worked so good, I probably couldn't teach it again for a while, but when I created a new class, I didn't go do it once. If I made a VA Lunch and Learn, I literally I'm going every side of San Antonio, partnering with the title company, and do it every day for a week. So 7 people saw my Lunch and Learn. I didn't just do it once and sit at home and waited, right? Whatever activity you do, whether it be open houses or Lunch and Learns, whatever it is, you can't do it once. You got to do it over and over again. So my whole theory was, and this is what I teach everybody when they start, you have to just meet people. I don't even care what your activities are. When you're brand new, your idea is to make contacts. Activities equal context. I don't even care what it is. I don't care if it's coaching Little League. Go out there and meet people, period, right? The better you are, the better your activities are, you're going to meet better contacts, But in the beginning, just meet people and tell you what you do. If you don't think that works, I coached the Little League team 1 year, and I did 3 refis because I sponsored the team. Because I was out there meeting people and telling them what I did. You don't have to be at just realtor events. You can be anywhere making contacts. Everybody who starts brand new as a branch manager, the first thing I need them to do day one is literally go and message 20 people that they do the best. Make a list of your 20 best friends and 20 closest people. Now you're gonna go send them a message, a text message, and say, hey, I just wanted you to know, I just started at Pilgrim Mortgage. I'm super excited about working here. Is there anybody you know looking to buy or sell right now? And if you message 20 people, I will bet you money that 3 of them respond, oh, my cousin is, oh, we might be looking to refi. Go and talk to 20 people and come back with me with the results every single time. They're like, shit, my cousin just told me they're looking at buying. Wow, you talk to people and now you got deals. If you can teach people that day one, it's downhill from there because they realize making contacts leads to conversations, which leads to opportunities. And that's all I try to teach people. Get in front of as many people as possible, tell as many people what you do, and it's gonna work out. I don't even care if it's realtors. I don't care who it is. If you talk to enough people and enough people see you as a mortgage guy, those people are gonna remember you later. I was never the guy that went looking just for clients. I went looking to make people want to do business with me whenever they were ready. We're in a very specific industry where every single person can be our client. We are not a sales guy that sells oil field parts who has 20 customers. We sell houses. Everybody can be our customer at some point. So if you take the attitude that the more people you meet, the more opportunities you'll have at some point, you'll have more deals than you can do. Now, when you get smart about it and you start having better activities, obviously your conversion rate's gonna go up. But literally, if you swing enough and meet enough people, I don't care how good you are, right? Like I can hit a home run out of 100 swings. Barry Bond may hit it every time he swings, but if I keep swinging all day, I'm gonna hit. In the very, very beginning, when you're building your business, you should be shaking hands, kissing babies, and swinging all day long. Now, as we get better at our activities, which I'm gonna start teaching you guys, it'll be way more, you'll have way more ROI on your activities. But in the beginning, just do stuff. Sitting at your desk talking to no one makes you nothing. Literally, getting out there, meeting people, volunteering, getting in the community, calling your friends, even if it's just calling your friends and talking to them. You got a free hour, call your friend you ain't talked to in 6 months. Just shoot the crap. More than likely, what you been doing? Oh man, business is good. Man, I was just thinking, my neighbor was talking about refinance, and I'll give you his number. If you talk to people, the opportunities will be there, all right? And that's really the basics of it. So I tell people, when you're coming up with your activities, this is really the last slide for you guys. My guys don't really know what to do when they're new. We're gonna have 3 marketing strategies here, right? And I truly believe that. And I put them in the buckets, and I make them all have activities in each bucket. Before I let them do any of this stuff, I make them do this stuff. So your first activity bucket is your sphere, right? If you can't get business from people who know you best, chances of getting business with people who don't is pretty difficult. So I make all of my guys work their sphere, call their friends, call their family, do events with the people they know. That's number 1. You should have activities that focus on the people in your circle of influence. The second thing I call is the hustle bucket. None of these cost any money, right? Like you don't need any marketing dollars to market to your friends and family. And you need no money to hustle. That's going to Chamber of Commerce events. That's going to open houses on the weekends and shaking hands with realtors and dropping off your cards. That's whatever it needs to be. That's teaching classes at real estate schools. Whatever it is, I call that hustling, right? You have to have some activities that are just straight up hustling. Doesn't cost $1. I literally did just these 2 things, worked my sphere and hustled my butt off. I never spent $1 on marketing, ever. You know, I was talking to a guy at Caliber last night I was recruiting, and he goes, man, my strategy is never to spoil anybody. Man, a guy talked me in for paying $500 for leads last week. And I said, you know what, man? That's a good sign. You're too busy. He goes, what you mean? He goes, I told myself in 6 years I'd never do that. I said the same thing. But I got so busy, I realized I couldn't give him the attention I used to, so I gave him money to make up for the lack of attention. He goes, that's kind of what I did. I said, I know. I do the same thing. You know, so there's a point in time where it starts costing you money because you just get so busy that you can't give him the attention you used to give him, so you give him money instead. It's unfortunate, but it just happens. So that's the third part of the business, right? That's the marketing, the money spend, that's the lead generation. I call that spending money stuff. That's the billboards, the radio ads, the mailers. If you're buying leads with people, all that stuff is third. Guys come in and want to do those things. I don't let anybody do any of that that's ever worked for me until I know they've worked their sphere and they're hustling their butt off. This is not the first part of your business. This is the last part of your business, right? So these are the 3 buckets where I put activities in for people and I come up with their business plan. Here's what mine looked like when I moved to Houston and I built my $150 million team. I literally made it like this. I put all the activities that I wanted to do on here, and I literally said, I put this by my phone. And I said, if I ever feel bored, I'm gonna look at this activity list, I'm gonna find something to do. All these things I thought I was gonna do, Facebook ads, write a book, I was gonna do a crawfish boil, all these things, I literally ended up doing just a couple over and over because they work so well. If you come up with an activity list and you figure out which ones work the best because you watch your numbers, that's the one you do over and over again. I used to buy Zillow leads for my guys, cut it out because we were doing so much purchase referral business. I used to do these Facebook funnels, cut it out. Used to buy realtors.com, I cut all this stuff out. I literally was only doing coaching realtors in classes because we were getting so much return on that activity. We did it over and over again. This was literally my business plan. I cut this out and I had it by my phone, and I went from 0 to 150 million in a year and a half just with this as a business plan. Okay, guys? I'll help you all figuring out activities. The last thing I want to leave you guys with is this word. And this was the biggest thing I figured out when I moved to Houston that changed my business for me. When I moved to Houston, I knew 0 realtors. Well, I lied. I knew 1 because I bought a house. And I said, well, I just moved here, I bought a house. The lady I bought the house from, literally my wife picked it out online. She never saw the house. I drove to the front yard. I called the lady on the sign and I said, hey, we want to buy this house. I don't need much help. I was like, paying cash. We're right here right now. Can you open it? She's like, I live down the street. She's like, I'll come right now. I met her one time. We bought the house in 10 days. Closed. My wife never even saw it. This lady had to give me a shot, right? I just made an easy $9,000 on me. She was going to give me a shot. So when I moved in, I called her. She lived up the road. I said, let's go to coffee. She had to give me a loan. She had to. I just bought a house from her. I didn't even know her. I called her off the sign, which we all know is not the way to do it, but I didn't think you live in Houston. So she gave me a shot. Went to lunch with her. She gave me 1 deal. After the 1 deal I closed for her, I said, hey, can I meet some of your friends? I leveraged the 1 deal I did, right? After I met a couple of her friends, did a couple of deals with them, I said, hey, can I meet your broker? I went to meet their broker, and I set up a class at their office, right? I'm the kind of guy who takes every victory and I leverage it. A lot of us want to celebrate, oh, I got a deal. No, if I win, I'm trying to win 5 times off of it, right? I leverage every victory. You do a really, really good deal and you don't try to market to the listing agent, you're missing. If you do a good deal and you don't try to get in at that brokerage, you're missing it. Every time I would do a deal with the listing agent, hey, I got a really good VA lunch and learn. You think I can talk to your broker about coming present it? I try to use every victory as leverage to win. And it's not just with real estate agents, it's not just with referral partners, it's also with clients. I'll give you an example. I had one lady that sent me 3 people from United Airlines. Their corporate office is actually in Houston by my house. I'm like, wow, that was great. We got 3 people from United. Then the bell went off. Wow, we're doing a great job for United Airlines. Like, why aren't we their preferred lender over there? Hey, how do you get all those deals from United Airlines? I used to work there. Oh, okay. You think you can set up a meeting with the HR person where we can go in there and meet with them? Yeah, we got 3 people over there that can vouch for us. Beautiful. We became their relocation lender because we had 3 people we did a deal with. Every time I would have a win like that, I would think about how to leverage it for more success. And it can be with clients, it can be with realtors, referral partners. Don't just celebrate your victories. Promise me that you guys will leverage every one of your victories you have, and you will over and over leverage it until you have more business you can have. All you have to do is win once if you know how to leverage those victories. And all of a sudden, you'll have more business than you can do. So what we're going to try to do for you guys is teach you guys how to work smart, how to give you the tools, and how to make this into a company that people want to do business with. All right? That's it.
Excellent.
Anybody have any questions? Y'all want a book? It's written in like Cajun, so y'all might not understand it. You got to ask a question, Kathy. Come on.
I have one.
Okay, what is it?
What
How to turn
time?
off your phone? I can't tell you.
Yeah. I turned it off twice.
I'm just
I don't know. Anyway, what time on Tuesday?
I'll give you guys a time on Tuesday. So we do have I'll let you guys know, we do have a new underwriting manager starting next week. That is, I am bringing in. I'm very, very excited about. I have a very, very good friend of mine who is the risk manager at Nation. She's the top of the food chain. And I called her and I said, anybody you know might be looking? And she said, I got an ops manager from Quicken. And I know you guys as loan officers may think Quicken, like, but I started thinking about it. I was like, man, I bet you working ops at Quicken, you have to be really good because the loan officers are really bad. So if it's that big and you got that many crappy loan officers, the ops people must be really badass. So I said, I'll reach out to you girls. So I started talking to her, and Quicken made everybody move from being remote to Detroit. And she took a severance package not to go remote. And she was the underwriting manager and ops manager for Quicken, which is obviously the largest mortgage company in the US now. So we technically have the underwriting manager that's going to be working with us, who was the ops manager at Quicken, which I personally feel is a huge get. I mean, when you have somebody with that kind of talent that can be ops of the largest mortgage company to come and work at a company like Pilgrim is gigantic. Whether she'll be the right fit for us, we'll have to wait and see. I think she's a wonderful person. But at the end of the day, that kind of talent can't hurt. So she's going to come in as underwriting manager, try to help us, streamline our guidelines, try to help us scale. And she's really, really excited about being in a smaller company that she can help bring up. One thing I don't want to do is try to get us to be bigger. And you guys say, man, this is growing pains. This is tough. We don't know how to be big. I like to Pilgrim when we're doing 300 million. I never want to hear that from anybody in here. Not that I don't want to hear it. I don't want it to be true. So I don't want to allow you to say that. So getting people who know how to be big and can make that transition seamless and make us better as we grow is very, very important to me. I don't want anybody to come, because that's what happened in Nations. I literally would say, man, this was cool. We did 400 million. We suck at 2 million. Horrible. I was like, I would go back to being small all day because it was fun. It was easy. Like, we're not a good $2 billion company. We're a good mom and pop. We're horrible because they refused to bring anybody in who knew how to be big. They wanted to do it all ourselves. They wanted to do it all with people organic. They wanted to protect their friends. Problem is, if nobody knows how to be big, we've only been here. We don't know what everyone else is doing. We don't know how to scale, and I refuse to let that happen to us. So I'll get you a time once I figure out how that day's going to play out, because she will be getting it here on Tuesday. We'll be training her, so I will find an hour or two in there to present to you
Yeah,
guys.
and just so you know, everybody in operations is aware. We're looking forward to bringing her on. We obviously want the capacity. We want the 24, 48-hour turn times at the worst. And that's something that George's committed to, the guys back there are committed to. And like Jordan said, she's come from a much grander scale, and hoping that she can bring that knowledge to just trickle down and learn from.
Yeah, she's going to start at the bottom too, just so you guys know. She's going to underwrite in the very, very beginning.
Yeah.
She's obviously going to manage, but she's going to do about 20,000 a month to make sure we have an overflow in case we get busy. She can underwrite, but we also want her to see how our systems are working. We don't want to come in and say, oh, this is this wrong. She's going to underwrite files first and then try to critique our system, try to help us. So she's just going to start off underwriting, and she'll be involved from the ground up, and hopefully it progresses into a much larger situation. But she's going to start off underwriting.
Another thing, I don't know if you mentioned, but she's going to be remote as well. All right,
Yeah.
so she's not going to be here. She's going to be here training for, we say a week and a half, 2 weeks, something like that.
All next week, and then we'll judge. She said
Okay.
we'll judge on how much more she needs when she comes back.
And she's going to be in North Carolina, just so you guys. Okay.
What are some of the topics that you taught these classes? Were they CE courses or?
So no, man. So none of the stuff that I teach anybody's gonna get credit for. I'm just So I personally, to do CE courses, you have to have your content monitored, and I'm not gonna let anybody tell me what to teach. Like, I want my own content. But one of the things that we're gonna do is I'm gonna build a marketing site that has all of our collateral. One of the pieces of the collateral we're gonna have is gonna be flyers, all this stuff. I'm actually gonna make all the classes that I made and all my PowerPoints, and I'm gonna make them Pilgrim classes. And I'm going to put them on there, and our graphic designer will be able to rebrand them for you. So I have a VA Lunch and Learn, I have USDA classes, I have social media classes, I have all kinds of classes. Some are just like that. Like this one right here, I actually turned into the world's greatest realtor, and I literally can give the same presentation on a dime like that. Spend an hour and pump those guys up. Teach them how to build their business step by step in the exact same way. Most of my stuff is very, very versatile, and I can flip it just like that.
Are you willing to, if we got enough realtors to maybe?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Other thing I want to piggyback, and Megan and I caught eyes when we talked about leverage. I cannot tell you, I never had the level of success that he had, but I cannot tell you, moving from LA to San Antonio, not knowing a person, I leveraged Spanish, and I got that first deal, and I asked them, who do you know? And I hounded them. Another thing that we hold back because we feel like we're bothering people, right? We feel like we're getting in their space. I had no problem asking questions, Spanish, English. Who do you know? How do you know how to get here? You do a loan for someone that works at. I did a loan for someone that works at Fred Loya. Next thing I know, I'm asking questions. Hey, how do I get into Fred Loya classes? If you start turning on, we talked about your reticular activator. When you do that one transaction, you find out who they are. Who else do you know? Who can you? All of a sudden, like he says, he moves to Houston, doesn't know anybody. That one realtor turns into these equations. Another thing that's happened to me is that person may not be the best referring partner, but that person may end up referring you to the broker, to their buddy or whatever, and that person ends up being the long partner that I've had. I've had partners that have had for 12, 13 years that were referred to me by someone else. So don't be afraid to ask the questions.
You know what I forgot? All the guys on the camera at the branches, we do have these shirts for you guys. Our marketing team has mailed you guys a package with all your sizes. I got it from your managers. So there's 26 guys at the branches watching.
Nice.
Y'all do get these shirts, so don't feel left out.
There you go.
Question.
Yes.
How long are you here for? Can we schedule for one?
Yes, so that's another thing I was going to tell you guys on Tuesday, is after I finish the step-by-step on Tuesday, I'll give you all my cell phone number, and you guys can all schedule a one-on-one. So that's all. This is all I did at Nations. All I did was coach the branch managers, coach the LOs, and build their teams, and show them how to get out there. I literally, You know, I got a text yesterday from a branch manager in Sulphur Springs that she literally went from 6 units to 16 units in literally 3 months of just working with me on giving ideas. And I'm not the kind of coach that's gonna be here and like tell you to do this every week, but I'll sit there and strategize with you, get you pumped up and try to, you know, help you anytime you want. So if you want to schedule 30 minutes to get started so we can just talk and feel it out, but we can keep it an ongoing conversation. I'm not a coach here, I work here, I'm for you guys. So anytime you need to talk to me, you want to bounce things, just call me. You know,
Another thing, Ron, Sharpie, that Megan and he agreed to, we're gonna switch the sales training classes that we've been doing online. They're gonna step in and be helping out with those on a monthly basis as well. So we're gonna treat that and bring them aboard so they can continue to help with those as well.
I got a bunch of friends and stuff too, man, that are really, really, you know, badasses that, you know, every now and then I may do like a weekend mastermind and something like that. If you guys want to learn on Friday, I'll fly in some of my guys that I used to, some of my old LOs that I used to coach and stuff like that. A couple of them turned into speakers and stuff now. And I'll bring in some of those guys to be trainings here and there. They owe me. So,
So I had the same question Lisa had, but I just wanted to raise my hand again. Because I really want to.
Wow. I love that honesty, they were pretty cute.
You can buy them on Amazon. I donate all the money. All the money goes to charity stuff.
I do have a question. I'm being a first year LO. If we ever get stuck in scripting or basically, you know, how to overcome certain objections, how are you going to help us? You know, those of us
So
that
here's
are
what I
coming
would tell
on
you. The first thing I tell you is throw away your scripts. The second thing I would tell you is, I was talking to somebody yesterday, the biggest benefit, I tell you the reason I was most successful from day one is because I debated for 8 years on the national circuit and I'm so used to people questioning me. I actually do way better when it's interaction. Speaking is okay, but you know, I am a cool man, so like, you know, speaking isn't my thing overall, but I do really good when it's back and forth. So I love talking to the customers and I'm so good at objections because I used to get cross-examined for fun. I mean, not a whole bunch of people do that. So when a client has objections, that's like right in my wheelhouse. And the one thing I teach people is, and how you get really, really good at objections is in your head, just convince yourself that you're gonna make them tell you no 3 times. That's what I always tell myself. I'm not gonna let anybody brush me off. I'm gonna make them tell me no 3 times. And this may sound weird to you, but here's how I do it. So I used to call leads, and this is when I came up with this strategy. I call, hey, Mr. So-and-so, did you apply online? No, that wasn't me. That's a no once, right? I didn't do that. Okay, then most people, if you're timid, you got no, you're hanging up. I'm gonna make them tell me no again. Oh, really? I was like, hold on 1 second. I was like, just to be sure, is your address so-and-so with, you know, this your name? I was like, because we bought this lead and it said you applied 30 minutes ago. No, that wasn't me. They told me no second time. Then I would take another third step. I'm like, okay, told me no twice. Like, here's the, like, you throwing out the life preserver at this point. Oh, okay, well then we probably should call the police because somebody is committing fraud. I was like, is this all your information? Because somebody filled out a form with your name looking for a mortgage. We probably should file like a fraud report. Oh, maybe my wife or something did. Oh, okay, well maybe that was. That's how you get over it. Make them tell you no 3 times in your head, and everybody has to tell you no. I make everybody tell me no 3 times. I never take no once. Like, oh no, I can't go to lunch today. All right, that's good. I understand. I'm actually not that hungry. What about tomorrow? You know, maybe coffee. I like coffee. You know, don't take no once. And don't think you're bothering people. Just rephrase it and make it subtle. And most people are gonna give you like this. It's like today's day and age is like a phone age, right? Everybody got ADD, right? Their attention span is so sharp. The first thing people want to do when something comes to them is brush it off. It's the first thing they want to do, even if they feel out of form, right? Because this is what I tell people. Like, let's say you're doing leads. I promise you, we used to call them in real time when I ran a call center. Real time. Somebody would fill out a form. We would call them within 30 seconds, and they would tell us they were not interested. Like, you just did this, lady. Like, what is wrong? And then I started thinking about it and putting myself in her shoes. Let's pretend this is a stay-at-home mom, right? She's filling it out. Boom, 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 done. Sends to us. Baby starts screaming. Phone rings. I'm not interested. Does that mean she's not interested? No, that means she's not interested right now, right? Because things change a little bit, but you'll be interested again soon. And it's all about getting them back when they're interested and they're not distracted. So if you let them brush you off once, when they really are interested, you're never going to get back in their cycle when they are interested. So staying around is important because people don't brush you off because they're not interested. They brush you off because life is hectic. They brush you off because they're distracted. They literally can be interested 30 seconds ago and not right now. But if you stop following up and you take no just once, you miss your opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody else?
You're out of books. You're out of books.
And I'll give you the link on Amazon. Yes, ma'am.
Not a question, just, send a kudos out to some of our management team. And they know I came over here 5 years ago because the other lenders that a lot of us all worked for put a lock on the underwriter's door.
Who is that? Never heard of him.
So no matter how many years experience anybody has, all these deals are complicated right now. And you need a go-to person or a second opinion sometimes. And sometimes emails just don't work or knowledge coop. Sometimes you really need to sit down and go through a file with someone. And that's what I appreciate about this company. Because I closed more deals here than I ever would have staying in another company. Probably all of us would say that, because that's what they did over there. So it's great to know that, management and underwriting is still available for you. So I was out of town and have about 5 deals this week, which is high for me with the refis. Literally, I was in a taxi coming back from Chicago. Heather, Suzanne, and Joni all teamed together to get my cash out refi done.
Yep, and that's the way
Get
we want it to be
that CD out
done, and that's
Monday
never
night.
gonna change.
I was on the phone till 8 o'clock and counting them to sign it so we could close on Tuesday, but only here would something like that happen.
I agree with you, but I don't necessarily agree with you on that because I've worked at companies where it does happen. But it is a great thing that does happen here and they do go above and beyond and that will never change. I wholeheartedly believe that, but I will tell you what will change is our underwriters being backed up because people don't know how to do their job. Right? Because it ain't all that. If it was all that, this is a really, really tough deal. We need an expert. If that's the only thing that they were doing, it'd be different. But 90% of what they're actually doing that's backing them up is because our LOs don't do their job properly, and that part is going to stop. And we're going to make those type of escalations way more organized, so it's fair to everyone. Because the people who are at the branches need to have the same access to our underwriters and the same priority as somebody who can walk into their office. So having an organized escalation system, having an organized scenario desk, and prioritizing all of our employees as we scale and giving that same kind of service you get is really my priority. I love that kind of service and I want to do it, but I want to make sure it's because the loans are hard and the underwriters are helping, not because our loan officers aren't trained. And I want to make sure that everybody has equal access to that kind of service.
Right. The Maven fail was the issue with that one.
Yep.
So you talked at the very beginning about growth and having people who have been big. And I ran $1 billion division at one time in my life. This is my second time here, and nowhere can you go, I don't think, and have the kind of support you get from these guys over here. I did a Margarita pour-off. Those 2 owners were the only ones that are helping me set up. And my fear is as you get bigger and bigger, that intimacy is going to fall away because now you guys are spread thinner and thinner and thinner.
So that's why growing smart is right, and that's a very, very logical fear, and that's probably the realest fear and the most logical fear. Because I will tell you the good part about growing bigger is the resources that become available, right? Because the bigger we are, the more we can afford. So there is going to always be some pluses. And I would tell you, me personally, I feel like the bigger we get, we allow us to add better talent. So while it may not be Mike and George all the time because we are going to be bigger, and that's fair. Because if we have 800 employees, Mike can't go to dinner with all of those guys. It's just not possible. But if we have 6 good national sales managers, we have some really good branch managers because we can afford them, we can layer that help and we can have that much more talent. It is a team, 100%. But the Yankees don't get to be the Yankees without a good farm system. So we do have to have people in the wings. We do have to have other layers of people that can do the same things they do. If we think only one person can do the things that they do effectively, then you're right, we'll never be able to be big. We have to be confident that there's multiple people who can step in and help us on multiple levels, and I'm committed to doing that. Now, that being said, I never wanted to be where it's not intimate with the owners. I never want to be where like it's a CEO and president that like running from a boat somewhere. If you look at Fairway, there's companies that the CEO literally text messages LOs back and they do $60 billion a year. If you're committed to that type of intimacy, it doesn't matter how big you are. If you use it as an excuse to get the hell out of here, anybody can do that at any time. I think we have the right people that no matter how big we are, we'll never forget about the people. Very legitimate concern, but if we have the right attitude, and if Steve Jacobson can do it at Fairway, we can do it here at Pilgrim.
Michael, I want you to tell you that's one of the many conversations, and Mike's over there shaking his head, that I've told him for about 4 years. That's one of the reasons why many of us came here is because of the intimacy, the way that we get the relationships we have, the connections we have. And I want you guys to understand this crystal clear. This here needs to be in great shape for anything to work. I mean, this here needs to be in great shape. You guys are already, we need to take absolute great care of you and just grow off of that. There's several bodies that we can cover a lot of ground. If you think of the bodies that were, the people, the quality of people that we're adding, and we really haven't even grown, We got a marketing person right there that's gonna do things for us that we've never had done before. We got a person that's gonna be starting with her here soon that we got from the Spurs. We've never had that before. We got another underwriter that's gonna come in with some serious talent. This young man's got some talent as well. He's gonna help us on that regard. So I get that, and that's something that I'm just telling you, someone that's been here 4 years, we're gonna closely watch. We would definitely want that commitment and that level of service. But he's right. At the end of the day, if we need to bring in bodies, but we have a processing manager that has been around a long time. I expect really, really great things out of her. So putting the right people in the right spots to support you and to provide you 24, 48 hours and the level of service that Carol gives, and the level of service that we've all been used to, it's not impossible.
Let's take it to another level. Let's just be honest, and I hate to say this with the branches on the call because they feel it, but at the end of the day, you guys are here.
Yeah.
You know, if you guys should never lose that. We don't even have any room to grow here. 90% of our growth is going to be outside these walls. And what I'm more concerned about is making sure the level of service you get, the intimacy you get, our people in Little Rock feel as well. Honestly, you should never have that problem because Mike's going to live here and be here. I don't think that'll ever be a problem for you. My bigger concern is as we grow outside the walls, and that our people don't feel like they're on islands.
Right.
Honestly, y'all day-to-day operation and what's going to change as we grow really shouldn't be much because y'all are in-house, y'all are the core, y'all are San Antonio. You know, what we're going to have the most trouble with as we scale is to make sure everybody feels that outside these walls while y'all don't lose your level of support. But y'all are always going to have the advantage being here. It's just a fact. I hate that for everyone else because, you know, they do feel it out there. They don't get to come to these trainings. They don't get that access. But it's the reality of it that you do have a significant advantage to access with the executives and stuff being here. So I don't think there's any chance you lose it. I hopefully feel my biggest concern is that we can carry that out through everyone as we grow. I think you're going to be fine, you know, for sure.
I have a question. So in the growth strategy, are we as a company onboarding branches that already have established processes and support systems? And then a ping-off question is how much effort, I guess, percentage-wise is based on new growth as well as in process improvements to make sure that behind the scenes we are.
So I'll be honest with you, I haven't even started really recruiting yet. I haven't recruited anybody, to be honest with you. Everybody that we have that's coming on board right now is literally all people who reached out to me. I do know a lot of people, and I'm not trying to toot my horn, but one of the things that I've always prided myself in is taking care of my people first. My wife is a CPA. I don't even look at my bank account. I literally just take care of my people, and I do the right thing, and I work hard, and I know I'll make money. So the guys who worked for me in the past, I mean, I paid after Harvey, I bought a guy a car because it's flooding. I paid for people's down payment on their houses. I paid for their mom's funeral. So the people that worked for me in the past, I mean, literally when I moved, my phone rang off the hook. You know, so none of the recruiting we've done so far has been an external effort, simply because of the fact that I know we got to get processes and stuff right here. But at the same time, we're not going to tell people no right now. But we have not even turned on the recruiting. Have not. It's about to start in the next week or two. And I told those guys after we get to the right manager, it's getting to be the winter when people move. So we will start pushing in a month or two to recruit really hard. But nobody we have brought on, we have not spent any money, we have not pushed on recruiting at all yet. Because we do know the processes, making sure the turn times, we've been focusing on that. That's why we got a processing manager. That's that part of the question. That's A1, because you cannot blow the engine if by adding, I mean, we're not gonna do that. That's 100% my biggest fear, to make sure we do it right.
And I'll piggyback off of that because I'm intimately involved in that. There's a lot going on behind the scenes that we want to streamline the process. Okay, there's a lot. I had a meeting with the processor yesterday. We're gonna need everybody's help. Honestly, guys, we're gonna need everybody's help to make sure, like Jordan said, that the LOs are doing the job, the processors are doing the job. Ideally, I would love we're gonna need to get it to where Mike Reyna needs overflow capacity for processing because the team we're at is slammed. He can take that file and send it to Megan's team, and it's the same looking file. It's streamlined. It looks about the same. Same thing with Megan. If Megan has an issue or she's jam-packed and she needs capacity, we want to be speaking the same language. I'm finding out more and more how differently we do things, and that's great individual. We always want to be individuals with LOs and that kind of thing. But in order for us to streamline the process and to help each other out, at a certain point, we got to be speaking the same language or submitting the cost. I asked the processor yesterday, we want the same underwrites across the board from underwriters, right? Yes or yes,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it would only make sense that we kind of submit the same files to underwriting, right? From as simple as where we're putting the notes to underwriting. I mean, it's amazing how everybody has kind of done things differently. So I just want you to understand that our commitment is that we're going to help, not create nothing extravagant or too tedious for everybody, to help to make sure that we streamline process so that we are.
And the second part of your question is, as far as who we're bringing on and how they set up, It's very much a case-by-case basis, but that's one of the reasons why we have been hiring carpet processors. We have Tammy training right now. I got another one I'm gonna bring on a little bit. We're gonna have carpet resources that if we bring on a branch, I got a commitment from a guy in Nashville yesterday, does about 8 loans a month with no processor. They're not gonna be tapping into y'all teams as much as they'll be tapping into people like Tammy, tapping into girls. So we're not gonna bring on people without processors if we don't have processing. Doesn't make sense. But my goal is to always have resources ahead as we're growing. You know, I want to have our underwriting turn times. I want people to be complaining to me. I want George to literally tell me, why are we spending so much on underwriters? We're at 24-hour turn time. Why are we hiring another one? Because George, I'm about to get more branches. Like, I would rather build it and them have faith that they will come and we lose money for a month than we lose a lot of money in 2 months when everybody's pissed. You know, if we build it and ahead and we got really, really good turn times and we're ahead of the game and we got people sitting around doing nothing for a month, no big deal, because I'll go out and get people to get business. I want to build it that way, not in reverse. We don't want them to get here and then say, oh crap, we're late. Another thing is just let you guys know some of the things we've been working on. We already hired a consultant firm. It's quite expensive. It's $14K. I'll just be honest with you guys, to come and do a health check on our Encompass and to make sure our Encompass is up to speed. They do Encompass for 6 of the largest companies in the country, and they're going to do a complete health check and rebuild our Encompass to standards of a large company. Our Encompass does not have the right stops, does not have the right forms, does not have any of the things it needs. Our Encompass needs to be tweaked very, very good. I see your face. That scares you?
No, one of the biggest complaints I hear from the prosecutor is Encompass is slow. Like they're watching it.
Yeah, so that's why I need to health check. Like, I don't know if our Encompass has the flu or herpes. I really don't. Hopefully it's just the flu. We can give it a couple antibiotics and we're on the road. But that's the thing. It's going to be a full health check. We're going to figure out why it's running slow. I mean, I'm just being honest. I don't really know. But you're right. We want to maximize its, not just its capacity. We want to speed it up. So it's a full health check across the board. Amen.
How close are we now on our underwriting turn times to be getting where we want to be?
Very close. Very, very close.
I mean, I know underwriters, I had some underwritten over the weekend, which was amazing and awesome, but I just wonder, how close are we to that?
So here's what I'll tell you. We're very, very close. Another thing I'll tell you this, and I'll tell you this as management, I tell you this as a loan officer who's still putting files too, and who still wants to take great care of his clients, right? You guys know me, you know how committed I am to that. One thing I will tell you is, interacting with the underwriters, they really care. They really care. And I've been at every company where they absolutely care. I talked to the underwriters on Friday. Susie was out for a funeral. She came in, dug in. They're working nights, they're working weekends. They need support, and they need another person. We're going to have another person here starting soon. The other thing that's consistent from them is, sometimes it only takes them 2 hours to underwrite a file, and sometimes it takes them 8 hours to underwrite a file. So we have a little bit to do with it. Right? To make sure that we're getting things in corrected, make sure that we're helping them out, make sure that we're having the right processes. So I think it's a collaboration. The wonderful thing is that we all care. That's a common denominator. We all care about each other and we all care about our clients. So if that's a truism, or if that's true, then that's great. That means we're all willing to do our part to get better and to improve so that we do have 24, 48 hours turn times. We submitted a file yesterday for clear to close in the afternoon. It was clear to close this morning. No problem. We're getting some of these. Yes, do we have those where we got to squeeze in? Absolutely, especially when they get slammed with all these refis. I mean, we overwhelmed them with a lot of refis, which, hey, that happens. What I like, guys, what I really like is the fact that we have not even brought, we got the New Orleans branch, 2 great people from New Orleans that my team's working with, and they're bringing a few files in, but we're already getting another underwriter that has the capacity to immediately help us with about 15 to 20 additional files. We have Tammy, who's another processor who can do a lot of files. We're looking at bringing in another processor. So we want to prepare so that we are doing what we need to do, 24, 48-hour turn times, consistent underwrites. We're taking care of our part so that when Jordan's like, hey, can we go? Yeah, let's go. Let's do it. Because we don't want to, it doesn't make any sense to want to go do that and affect the business that we have, affect you guys. And it's not going to work.
Well, it's definitely not the next layer. I mean, if we're having this class as a next layer lead generation, I'm really excited to hear the tools will be in place.
Absolutely.
So that I can get excited about getting the more instead of babysitting what we've got.
No, absolutely. I completely agree. So, I personally feel like the only way to grow the way we want to grow is with you guys' help. And if you guys aren't happy here, me recruiting new people and replacing people leaves is just like a zero-sum game, right? We lose 10 and gain 10. That's not really cool. Like, I don't even really like to recruit, to be honest with you. I would love, like, same way I had realtors calling me, I want loan officers to be calling us to come work here. That would be way more fun. And the only way they're gonna do that, if you guys are so happy and y'all spread the shine everywhere, and then people want to know what's going on in Pilgrim, because everybody who's here is so happy, they call us. That's really what I want to be. And the only way that can happen is with really good ops. I don't want to be cold calling loan officers and asking them to come work here, and then they go research and realize everybody here is miserable. That's not fun. I want you guys basically bringing me your friends and contacts and like, man, what's going on? Everybody at Pilgrim seems to be crushing it. That's more fun, you know? And that's only sustainable if we have the best ops. And it can be, the momentum can only explode that way. If we don't have the best ops, that'll never happen. And it'll be a zero-sum game. We'll be replacing people who are mad, and we'll just be piling on top of problems. And that's not what we want. We want to build it right, build it smart, and that if we get momentum, we can explode that way. Can't do it any other way.
I was telling the processor yesterday, I said, I'm gonna let you in a little secret. When Mike and Joni recruited me to come to Pilgrim, not once did they tell me they were gonna have the best rates or the lowest fees. I mean, did they tell any of you guys that? No, right? So what we committed was the level of service that the experiences we wanted. When Tyler was helping recruit me as well, it was about, hey, look, I knew a lot of the people here. I knew we can turn loans in 21, 25 days, even 30 days. I don't necessarily need to do loans in 21 days, but 30 days with great processes, not living in chaos, being able to close on time, have happy clients, get the reviews that I want, that's what we want to continue to obviously improve. And then look, every mortgage company I've ever been to, has had the 24, 48-hour turn time sometimes, and then they get slammed, and guess what? Underwriters are only human. They can only move as fast as they can, so we do get 72 hours sometimes. But we want to minimize those periods, and we want to try to get ahead of the curve. We can't ever promise you that it's going to be 24, 48 hours all the time. It's impossible, right? Because Megan blows it up, Mike Rayner blows it up, Lisa Arlette blows it up, and they're doing a ton of business. We just need the additional capacity. But we want to try to get ahead of that curve, so when those periods happen, like they happen, they're for a short period of time.
And y'all gotta understand, the bigger we get, the easier it is to control, right? Because if you only have 4 underwriters and you get a little pop, it's hard to do that.
Right.
But if we have 20 and we get a pop, it's easy to maintain, you know? The smaller companies have a harder time maintaining the turn times because the bulges affect them more. The larger we get, obviously, we can keep 48 hours, and I can promise you that, because I know I got 15 of my 20 guys to work on the weekend to get caught up. I don't have that right now. If all 3 of them have plans, I mean, only one can work to catch up. It's hard. Right. You know, the bigger we are, the easier it is to control those bulges, to be honest with you. So I know it's going to be lunchtime, and I don't want to leave anybody out. If anybody has any questions or wants to talk to me, I'm not leaving until like 4. I can talk to you guys one-on-one. I don't think I have much planned for the rest of the day. If anybody has any questions, we can talk right now, or come sit with any of you guys. Everybody's good?
How about a round of applause for
Thank you guys. Huh? We can talk, yeah, for sure.
Thanks, everybody.